MC Facebook Live. We got a double header tonight, and our first guest is Lauren Updike. And we were supposed to do this interview a week ago, and then we got scrubbed, so we're having her back. And you're going to really enjoy what she brings to the table tonight. Lauren is a makeup slash Esti slash Instagram highlight slash referral Jedi that is absolutely blowing it up behind the chair. She's at Zoto Signature Salon and Spa, Parisburg, Ohio. Salon owner is Leah Wilson and Victoria Perry. It's on the spa side. The summit coach, of course, is Victoria, and they're just doing a phenomenal job. Let me tell you why I interviewed her tonight and invited her on the show. A level 2, all right, so she's getting started. 28 years old. Average service day is $300. Average service ticket is 55. She's trending to do 200 referrals this year, and when you see what she's doing with Instagram highlights and the grids and her videography, you'll know why. Rebooking 55%. RTS is at 20. I mean, look at how she's growing from that she went from in 16. She continues to go up every year. From 16 to 17 went up 10 grand, 15 grand the next year, 10 grand this last year, and she's trending another 10. So she just continues to add another $200-300 a week to her W-2 income. I mean, that's what I call, like blowing it up big time. And she's 4 days in the salon, by the way, you guys. She's going to tell you her story. Graduates from high school in '09, working a couple of jobs. That just love that part of her story. In 2012, decides to go. Graduates from Esti school in 14. Begins working the front desk during school, and then learns the whole front desk thing, and then decides that she's going to jump on the spa end as an Esti, and the rest is history. I mean, she's just been blowing it up, and she's trending yet another $10,000 increase in W-2 this year. She is absolutely phenomenal in her photography, her videography on Instagram and Facebook at Lauren Up Makeup. iPhone 8 Plus on when you really look at her Instagram followers, it's in or around 555. The overwhelming majority of her guests following her. Most of the referrals are coming from the content that she's putting on her social media platform. So she's got a lot going. So here's the deal. She's in our green room. Cross your fingers that the Wi-Fi gods are working. We're going to get her talking about her story. And then I said, you have to share some of your juicy, best kept, latest, greatest secrets with us. So let me go in the back to get her. See if we can find if she's there. There she is. Would you give it up for her, you guys? Lauren! Yeah. Did you hear me bragging on you?
Yes, I did. I love it.
Well, first of all, thank you. I know it's been a long day, and we were supposed to do this last week, and the Wi-Fi gods were mean to us. So thanks for your patience, and I'm just absolutely thrilled that you're with us tonight.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, we always like to get the story started because that's what inspires, that's the inspirational piece. And I just love your story. We want to know, first of all, who you are and what you were doing before you decided to do this. And then, kind of what compelled you to, pursue this career, this path as an Esti makeup and now Instagram Jedi.
Yeah, so basically before this, I first graduated high school, obviously. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I basically started going to school for commercial arts at just a community college, and I hated it. I was not inspired. I was not barely even going to class, so that was a big problem. And then I eventually found that I wanted to do something else, not quite sure. So I dropped out of college and I discovered aesthetic school. So I also, in commercial arts, I always was like drawing, painting. That was one of my biggest hobbies. I was always sketching. I always had a sketchbook on me. And it kind of just developed and kind of snowballed into loving to do makeup, and I would do makeup on all of my friends when we would go out, all of this stuff. And then, so yeah, then I found aesthetic school and it all just kind of fell into place.
So what I'm always curious, I can't remember if I asked you this when we were chatting, but when you decide that you're going to go to, like your traditional post high school, secondary, college, and you're in, and all of a sudden you make this pivot 2 years in. What did your parents have to say about that?
They were not happy at all.
So you got
They
to.
did not trust my vision at all.
How old were you, by the way, at that point in your life? Were you like late teens, front end of 20 something?
Yeah, about 19, going on 20.
And your mom and dad are going, our daughter is freaking us out.
Yeah, seriously. And I
All
had
right.
a sister
So
who knew
I mean,
exactly.
I've been watching you in the last, several months, and you're on fire. So, and because you're on the show tonight, we know that something always happens to us that profoundly alters kind of like the trajectory of our life, where, we're trying to look for what we want to do. We find it. We have the great divine OMG. What was yours?
My OMG moment was, I feel like when I discovered aesthetic school, it sounded perfectly made for me and kind of the path and career that I wanted. It was like it was just made for me. So that was definitely the wow moment for me, was discovering aesthetic school.
And then I know you were doing, you started at Zoto behind the desk, so you're watching other people, and all of a sudden now you're a service provider at Zoto, right? And you start looking at the charts. Did you see any connection between, great, I can be, a genius in my art, and oh, by the way, make an extraordinary earning for a living?
Yes, working at front desk and just seeing like behind the scenes and working with the cash register and seeing clients and my coworkers just really do great. So yeah, it was definitely very attractive
Yeah,
to
I can't
me.
tell you how many conversations I have with really service providers that are crushing it, but they started at the desk and they saw the money. And they're going, oh,
Yeah.
no, I really want to be on that side of things. And you made that pivot, which is just extraordinary. So here you are today, and I think you'd agree you're in a place that's almost diametrically opposite of where you were not long ago. So we're curious, what's it like to be Lauren Updike today compared to who she was even a year, 2 years ago?
Right. So I just feel like I have grown so much since I've been here, especially with my coaches and everything. And I just have a career that I'm in love with. Like going to work just doesn't seem like it's going to work. And I get to travel and do all this fun stuff now. So yeah, it's definitely way more than I even expected.
Yeah, and as I'm watching some of your highlights, I see you in other countries. I don't know if you went to Iceland with Molly or what, but I thought I saw you were like doing some photo shoots in abroad. So, and I know that she's into that too. So I'm assuming that's what you got cooking there.
Yes, I love Molly. Yes. So we went to Iceland and we did a photo shoot. That was last August. And then this year we went to Puerto Rico last month, actually. So, and it's all for work and with Soto and my salon company. And yeah, I just
I
couldn't be
love it.
happier, dude.
So what's next for Lauren in the next year, 2 years? What do you see yourself doing?
Definitely traveling more. I just feel like that just kind of fills your soul a little bit. And so, yeah, definitely traveling, doing more makeup, possibly one day doing celebrity makeup. Who knows? Hopefully. And then just growing, learning, continuing my education, all of that good stuff.
Well, this last word before we pivot into your tutorial is there's a lot of people watching tonight. There's going to be a few thousand people watching this conversation in the next few weeks, and they're looking at you, they're listening to you, they're inspired by you, they're relating, identifying, they're going, I love this, except I'm at where she was, and she's in a place that I'd love to be. What are you going to say to them to raise the probability that they'll go for the gold like you did?
I would just say trust your gut. If you're doing something and you're not happy, stop and find something different. Absolutely. And just be consistent and don't give up on yourself. or your dreams. As cheesy as it sounds, it is so true not to give up and to just really trust yourself.
I love it. Now, we got a few minutes with you, and I'm not going to let you leave without getting some of your juicier, latest, greatest. Like I follow you, you're on my feed. I probably see your content 2, 3 times a day. You're doing some extraordinary stuff. I know you got 2 or 3 keys you want to share. The first one has to do with how you're networking and teaming up with photographers in the photography community. Talk about that.
Yeah, so teaming up, we have a couple photographers in the Toledo area that I and some of my coworkers team up with. And I just feel like that leads to kind of spa clientele. It just comes kind of full circle. And then building my portfolio, working with these photographers and just networking. And on top of that, it's fun. It's a good artistic expression for me. So yeah, to be able to get creative with these photographers is awesome.
And I really, the part of your story that's really unique is that you were kind of dabbling in art photography prior to on-ramping to Esti. You took, and now we're all into photography. So that it's almost like the second skill set for, service providers is you better be growing and evolving as much as a photographer as you are as an esthetician, a makeup artist. So, and now you're going, yes, I am. And oh, by the way, I hang out in those social communities, networking, learning latest, greatest from that. So that's probably why you continue to evolve and not only photography, but videography.
Absolutely. Yeah. From college, I did commercial arts. I actually took a few photography classes in college as well when I was there. So I feel like all of that, everything happened for a reason, I truly believe.
I love it. Now, second key, I just absolutely have to get you talking about your Instagram page, both in your grids and your highlights, because you're doing some really cool stuff there. And I know it's like that's driving your 200 referrals that are happening and filling last minute. So talk about that.
Yeah, definitely. Social media has been such a game changer for this industry. I probably get, I would say at least 70 to 80% of my makeup clientele come from my Instagram page. Friends are sharing my pictures, and that shows their friends my pictures. And it's just such a good platform, and it fills the last minute appointments. That's a game changer as well, as to be able to post, hey, I have a last minute cancellation. Anybody want it? So yeah, I just feel like you can reach everybody through social media.
Now, as you were chatting, I'm on your page live now, and there's 2 things I want to ask you a little bit about. When I look at your grids, you've got 3, 6. I see 15 pieces of work, and a wonderful combination of not only your product but the looks that you're doing, as well as promoting some other things. So it's a nice blend there, and I think that when you're posting some of your content, I see there's slide work there. So you have a before, or you have a couple of shots of like this is your one where this is your first slide, and then the second slide you see the eyes closed. So a searcher sees that, and it says a lot. And she looks absolutely amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, she's so beautiful.
And then when I look at like this one here, I really love because it's one shot. Do you remember posting that?
Yeah, so the before and after with the eyebrows.
Yeah,
So
and you do a lot of that on your grids. The way you're framing this is really, really interesting. It looks like it, I even think that you actually have a real subtle, understated watermark on your content so that people can't lift it from the internet.
right.
So that's really cool. Now, I want you to talk about what you're doing on highlights and what's the inspiration behind that.
The highlights are the first thing people see. I feel like that is so important, just to highlight what's going on. So with me, it's skincare, it's makeup, it's travel. All 3 of those things are on my highlights because, like I said, people go to that first before scrolling sometimes. So there it all is.
Yeah. Now I'm actually. This
That's
is
from
you.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah. So that you did a highlight just on your tour, and it was a profession. I mean, you're like there doing shoots, and then you
Mhm.
have this one here says it looks like it's Ohio State Reformatory, and oh yeah, you're
Yes.
doing a photo shoot on site there.
Yes. So that was the Mansfield Reformatory, which is haunted. So
And then you pivot, and then you've got the Iceland tour, and then you do something, and I'm actually showing this when I'm on the road doing Anatomy of Awesome. This is a highlight where you're promoting product, and it almost
mhm.
looks like a tutorial. Talk about what that is.
Yeah, so different times of year, you want different skincare, and that way you can kind of see exactly what that product is going to do for you and what skin type. So, yeah, it's just used to teach and to be informative for everybody.
Now, when a guest comes in and makes a comment about a tutorial like this, are they seeing it when they're like kind of crawling Instagram and on your page, or would that be something they might watch when they're in their chair or waiting in your chair or waiting for you to come to greet them? Like, when does your guest actually see some of this content?
Well, actually, on my business card, I have my Instagram account. So every one of my clients gets my Instagram account, and usually 9 times out of 10, they're adding me. So they see that then once they add me, and then they can watch that whenever they want. So before their appointment, after the appointment, and I'm constantly adding to it. So yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm looking, when I look at your followers, it's so real that I can tell by the number of followers that you're branding yourself as an artist, not necessarily an influencer. At a little bit over 500 followers, I'd be curious to know how many of those followers are your clients, so that when you're posting the content, you have more of your clients that it's going to, and or their followers, if they're engaging in the content, liking it, commenting it, and sharing it. What are do you have any of those kinds of conversations when your guests are in your chair?
Yes. So yeah, especially if I'm doing makeup on them, I'll tell them that I'm going to post their picture and to add me. And then they go and share that picture, which in return gives me more followers because they're sharing it to all of their friends who don't know about me. So now I'm getting exposed to all of their followers. And that's
I love it.
really, really
I love it.
cool.
Now I got one more question I want to ask you that I'm curious about. You made the comment that when you document your content from a client, how much of that content shows up on your client's page, whether you're airdropping it to them, or they're reposting, or maybe they're doing a selfie and then uploading that. How much of that kind of energy is happening in your world?
So much. I feel like, especially girls for homecoming, prom, they're taking those selfies and they're tagging me and sharing it. And then their friends want me to do their makeup for homecoming and so on and so forth. So it's just a really cool kind of snowball effect there.
Yeah, well, what you're saying is so key, because their friends see that content on their page, and then their friends are coming to you saying, "Hey, can you make that happen for me? I want you to make me over, and then I want to get me on my page." It's almost like they've got their own magazine. You're kind of like using their page to create a front page of magazine where they're featuring themselves.
Right, exactly.
And that's
Exactly.
probably why 200 referrals a year. I mean, you do the math on that. That's like, that's, like, what is that? 20, about 15 to 20 referrals a month. So that's a lot.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, listen, we're out of time. I gotta go. We got another double header tonight. So I want to thank you for coming on, and you have to promise me you'll come back to do an encore as you continue to evolve. I think you're just getting warmed up. I mean, level two. How are you getting close to three?
Yes, so I'm almost there and I'm hoping this holiday season will be good.
That'll be the nitroglycerin on the bonfire.
Yes,
All right. Well,
exactly.
thanks again for taking time tonight to be with it. It was a wonderful show. Say hi to all my homies, at Zoto, and tell them I love you guys. And then I'll see you soon. I'm going to wrap the show up, and then I'll probably get back to you sometime this week to just kind of follow up. But you blew it up tonight. We love you a lot. Let's give it up one more time for Lauren Updike.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome so much. I'll see you later.
Bye, Michael.
Bye. Give it up one more time, you guys. All right, so I think it was big tonight. What some of the things that she was talking about. First of all, the story. The stories are always interesting to me because they tell me that like in Lauren's case, she went to college, but it was interesting as she was pursuing her art, she was evolving her photography stuff, so that when she pivoted to Esti school, she brought that with her. And now, when you really look at her highlights, she really is as much of a photographer as she is a service provider, and she's taking advantage of that. So I think that was what was key as well. And I really want you to follow her on Instagram. She's one of my favorite peeps to follow. Her handle again is Lauren Makeup. Lauren Up Makeup, and you can see what she has. I want you to study her highlights. I want you to study her grids, because I think what she's doing is really driving 200 referrals a year. So, great show tonight.